Let's settle in now, finding a comfortable position, allowing your body to feel heavy and supported. There is nothing else you need to do, nowhere else you need to be. The only task at hand is to listen to the sound of my voice and to let your mind drift along with the words. We are not going on a grand adventure tonight. There will be no dragons to slay, no mysteries to solve, no mountains to climb. Instead, we are going to turn our attention to something very, very simple. Something quiet and unassuming. We are going to witness the creation of a single, plain, beige thread. It doesn't sound like much, does it? And that is the entire point. It is a story with no surprises, no sudden turns, a story as soft and steady as a gentle breath. And so, let your own breath become gentle and steady now. A slow inhale and a long, soft exhale. Let the tension of the day begin to melt away, like sugar dissolving in warm water. Let your shoulders drop. Let the tiny muscles around your eyes relax. Just be here in this quiet space as our story begins. Imagine, if you will, a vast and quiet field under a pale, hazy sky. The sun is not bright or harsh. It is diffused by a thin layer of high, wispy clouds, casting a soft, even light over everything. There is a gentle warmth in the air, just enough to feel comfortable, and a very light breeze stirs from time to time, too soft to make a sound, but just strong enough to cause the gentlest of movements. In this field, there are rows upon rows of small, woody shrubs. These are cotton plants. They are not spectacular. Their leaves are a muted green and the plants themselves are unremarkable. But on their branches there are small, puffy clouds of white. These are the cotton bolls, burst open to reveal the soft fibers within. And our story starts here, with one single boll on one single plant in the middle of this vast, quiet field. Let's draw our attention closer, closer still, until this one cotton boll fills our entire awareness. It looks like a whisper of cloud caught on a twig. The fibers are a soft, creamy white, not a brilliant, stark white, but the gentle color of milk. They are packed together, but they look airy and light, as if a single puff of breath could scatter them. Let's look even closer at the individual fibers. They are called staples, these tiny strands, and they crisscross and tangle together in a beautiful, chaotic web. Some are longer, some are shorter. They are incredibly fine, thinner than a human hair, yet they possess a quiet strength. Let's focus on one single fiber, just one. It is nestled deep within the boll, protected by its countless neighbors. It is perhaps an inch long, and it has a slight, natural twist to it, a gentle spiral that is almost invisible to the naked eye. A faint sheen of natural wax coats its surface, giving it a subtle luster in the soft light. This single, tiny fiber has been waiting here, in the quiet of the field, just growing and being. It has felt the warmth of the diffused sun, felt the gentle rocking of the breeze. It has been dampened by morning dew and dried by the afternoon air. It has done nothing, and nothing has been asked of it. It simply exists. And now, a hand, slow and careful, reaches for the cotton boll. The fingers are gentle as they close around the soft puff. There is no hurry, no rush. The hand closes, and with a soft pulling motion, the entire collection of fibers is plucked from the dry, brown casing of the bowl that held it. The sound is almost nothing, a faint, tearing whisper. The fiber we were watching is now part of a soft handful of cotton, resting in a warm palm. It is surrounded by its brethren, thousands upon thousands of them, all jumbled together. The journey has begun, but it is a slow, unhurried journey. The hand places the puff of cotton into a large, soft bag. Inside the bag, it is dark and quiet. The fiber is pressed gently against others as more and more cotton is added. It is a soft, cushioned world of white. There are tiny specks of leaf mixed in, little bits of the dried plant casing, and minuscule particles of dust from the field. These are imperfections, but they are a natural part of the story. Nothing is perfect, and there is a kind of peace in that. For a long while, this is all that happens. The gentle addition of more cotton, the slight compression, the darkness, and the quiet. The bag moves with a slow, swaying rhythm, a gentle rocking motion that is soothing and predictable. It is the rhythm of someone walking slowly, methodically, through the endless rows of the quiet field. There is no destination in mind yet, only the task at hand, performed with a calm, steady focus. The sun continues to shine its soft, hazy light outside, and the breeze continues its gentle, silent dance. But inside the bag, there is only the soft press of fiber against fiber, a world of quiet waiting. After a time that is impossible to measure, the bag stops its swaying. It is opened and the soft light returns. The cotton, including our single fiber, is gently tipped out onto a large, flat wooden surface. It forms a soft white mountain, a landscape of fluff. The air smells faintly of earth and dried plants. Now the next stage of the journey begins, the cleaning. This is not a fast or mechanical process. It is done by hand with patience and care. A person sits beside the pile of cotton, their movements slow and deliberate. They take a small handful and begin to pick through it, their fingers acting like a gentle rake. A small brown piece of leaf is found and carefully removed, placed into a small bowl nearby. A tiny twig, no bigger than an eyelash, is discovered and set aside. The fingers move through the cotton, separating the clumps, allowing the fibers to breathe. Our one fiber is caught in one of these clumps. It is gently pulled and teased apart from its neighbors, not separated entirely but loosened. The tiny speck of dust that was clinging to it is dislodged and falls away unnoticed. The process is repeated over and over. A small handful is taken, cleaned of its visible impurities, and then placed on a separate, growing pile of cleaned cotton. The work is meditative, rhythmic. Pick up, inspect, clean, place down. The only sounds are the soft rustle of the cotton fibers and the gentle clink of a piece of debris being dropped into the discard bowl. This process takes a very long time. There is no clock on the wall, no sense of urgency. The light outside may shift as the day progresses, but inside the work remains the same. The pile of raw cotton shrinks while the pile of clean cotton grows. It is a slow, tangible measure of progress. Our fiber is now in the clean pile. It looks much the same as before, but it feels a little lighter, a little airier, without the small bits of debris clinging to it. It rests among its fellows, a vast sea of white potential. It is clean, but it is still a jumble. The fibers point in every direction, a chaotic mass of softness. The next step is to bring some order to this chaos. This is called carding. Two large, flat paddles, like oversized hairbrushes with fine metal teeth, are used for this. A small amount of the clean cotton is placed onto one of the paddles. The other paddle is then gently drawn across it. The teeth of the carders catch the fibers and pull them, gently coaxing them to lie in the same direction. At first, there is a slight resistance, a soft tearing sound as the tangled fibers are persuaded to align. But with each pass, it becomes smoother. Our single fiber is caught in the teeth of the top carder. It is lifted from the mass and pulled straight. Its natural, gentle twist is momentarily smoothed out as it is drawn alongside its neighbors. It is a satisfying, quiet process. The pass is completed, and the fiber is now lying on the other carder, straighter than before. The process is repeated. The cotton is passed back and forth between the two carding paddles. With each pass, the fibers become more and more aligned, more and more parallel. The chaotic puff of cotton is slowly transformed into a smooth, flat sheet of fibers called a lap. It is cohesive now, a single entity rather than a jumble of individuals. Our fiber is in the middle of this lap, lying straight and true, surrounded by thousands of others, all pointing in the same direction. They are like iron filings aligned by a magnet, a quiet testament to order emerging from chaos. From this flat lap, a small section is gently pulled and rolled, creating a soft, thick, untwisted rope of fibers. This is called a sliver or a rawleg. It is delicate. If you pull it too hard, it will simply drift apart, but it has integrity. The tiny, microscopic hooks and textures on the surface of each fiber allow them to cling to one another, to hold on just enough. Our fiber is now part of this rawleg, this soft, airy rope of potential thread. It is ready for the next, most magical stage of its transformation. The rawleg is taken to a spinning wheel. It is an old wooden wheel, worn smooth by years of use. It makes a soft, rhythmic whirring sound when it moves, a gentle hum that is the heartbeat of this quiet room. The process of spinning is what will turn these loose, aligned fibers into a strong, stable thread. It is a process of twisting. The end of the rawleg is teased out into a thin wisp and attached to a central spindle on the wheel. The spinner begins to pump a pedal with their foot, and the large wheel starts to turn. As the wheel turns, it causes the spindle to rotate at high speed. This rotation introduces a twist into the fibers. Let's watch our single fiber. As the spindle turns, the twist travels up the newly forming thread and into the rawleg. Our fiber is caught in this wave of twisting. It begins to spiral around its neighbors. The gentle, natural curve it once had is now amplified, locked into place with the other fibers. This twist is what gives the thread its strength. The individual fibers are still weak, but twisted together, they grip one another, they interlock, and their combined strength is magnified. They transform from a loose collection into a unified whole. The spinner's hands are a marvel of gentle control. One hand holds the rawlag, feeding the fibers toward the twisting spindle. The other hand controls the tension and the amount of twist. The fingers can feel the exact moment the thread has enough twist to be strong, but not so much that it becomes stiff. It is a language of touch, learned over countless hours of practice. The thread grows longer and longer, a continuous strand being born from the soft, airy rawlag. It is a process of constant creation. The thread passes through a small hook and is guided onto a bobbin, which is also turning on the spindle. It winds itself into a neat, even layer. Our fiber, once a single, anonymous speck in a field, is now an integral part of this new creation. It is locked in a spiral embrace with thousands of other fibers, its identity merged into the collective. It travels from the spinner's fingers through the hook and onto the bobbin, winding around and around in a predictable, comforting pattern. The sound of the wheel is the only sound, a steady, whirring lullaby. Whir, whir, whir. The thread grows, the bobbin fills. The light in the room remains soft and unchanging. There is a deep, peaceful satisfaction in watching this process. The creation of something simple, something useful from humble beginnings. There is no drama here, no conflict. There is only the gentle, rhythmic transformation. The rawlag gets shorter as it is drawn into the spinning vortex, and the thread on the bobbin grows fuller. It is a perfect, quiet balance. Eventually, the first rawlag is used up. The spinner takes the very last wisp of its fibers and, with practiced skill, overlaps it with the beginning of a new rawlag. By gently rolling the fibers together, they join seamlessly and the spinning continues without a break. The thread shows no sign of this join. It is a continuous, unbroken line. Our fiber is now deep within the layers of thread on the bobbin. It is part of a long, strong, creamy white yarn. The bobbin is now full. The thread is wound tightly and evenly, a beautiful cylinder of potential. The spinning wheel slows to a stop and the gentle whirring fades into silence. The room is quiet once more. The full bobbin is removed from the spindle. The thread is complete, but its journey is not quite over. Several of these bobbins are filled in the same slow, methodical way. The pile of rawlags shrinks and the collection of full bobbins grows. Each one is a testament to the patient work, to the transformation of soft, chaotic fluff into strong, ordered thread. The next step is to take the thread from the bobbins and wind it into a large, circular loop called a skein. This is done on a simple wooden frame, a reel that turns by hand. The end of the thread from a bobbin is tied to one of the arms of the reel, and then the handle is turned. Around and around it goes, a slow and steady motion. The thread unwinds from the bobbin and winds onto the reel, forming a beautiful, large loop. The movement is graceful and circular. It is another form of meditative repetition. The arm goes up, over, down, and around. The thread glides through the air in a constant, flowing line. Our fiber, part of this thread, makes this circular journey again and again and again. It is a smooth, predictable ride. When the bobbin is empty, the end of the thread is tied to the beginning of the thread from a new bobbin, and the winding continues. The skein grows thicker and fuller. It is a beautiful object in its own right, this great loop of creamy white yarn, its thousands of strands lying parallel to one another. Once the skein has reached the desired thickness, it is carefully slipped off the reel. Before it can tangle, short pieces of scrap thread are used to tie it loosely in a few places, keeping the loop organized. The skein is then twisted upon itself into a neat, coiled bundle. It looks like a soft, pale loaf of bread. The thread is strong and beautiful in its natural, creamy white state. But for our story, it is destined for a different fate. It is destined to become beige. The color beige is not exciting. It is not vibrant or attention-grabbing. It is the color of sand on a cloudy day, of dried grass, of weathered stone. It is a quiet, restful color, a color that asks for nothing. And so, the skein is prepared for dyeing. It is first washed gently in lukewarm water with a mild soap. This is to remove any remaining natural oils or specks of dust to ensure the dye will take evenly. The skein is submerged in the water and gently squeezed. The water may become slightly cloudy at first. The skein is rinsed and squeezed until the water runs clear. It is now damp and heavy, and the color is a slightly deeper cream than before. Now for the dye bath. In a large, wide pot, water is heated gently. It is not brought to a boil, but just to a warm, simmering state, like a cup of tea that has been left to cool for a few minutes. Into this warm water, the dye is introduced. It is not a bright chemical color. It is a dye made from natural things, perhaps from the husks of nuts or the bark of a specific tree. The powder dissolves slowly in the water, turning it a translucent, earthy brown. It does not look exciting. It looks like muddy water. It smells faintly of earth and wood. The damp, clean skein of thread is gently lowered into this dye bath. It sinks slowly, absorbing the warm, colored water. For a moment, parts of it are still creamy white, while other parts begin to take on the pale brown hue. Using a smooth wooden stick, the dyer gently pokes and prods the skein, ensuring it is fully submerged and that the dye can reach every single fiber. There is no rushing this process. It must be allowed to happen in its own time. Our fiber, deep within the twisted thread, within the bundled skein, begins to encounter the dye. The molecules of pigment suspended in the warm water find their way into the microscopic crevices of the cotton fiber. They latch on, bonding with the cellulose. It is a slow, gentle invasion of color. The creamy white begins to surrender, to transform into a pale, sandy tan. The process is quiet and gradual. The pot sits over a very low heat, just enough to keep the water warm. From time to time, the dyer will use the wooden stick to lift the skein gently from the bath, checking the progress of the color. The thread, heavy with water, drips the pale brown dye back into the pot. It is still pale. It needs more time. It is lowered back into the bath to continue its slow saturation. An hour passes. The light in the room has softened further as the day wanes. The only sound is the occasional gentle sigh of the low flame beneath the pot. The dyer lifts the skein again. The color has deepened, but only slightly. It is now the color of weak tea. It is a pleasant color, but it is not yet the intended beige. It must sit longer. There is a deep peace in this waiting. It is the acceptance that some things cannot be hurried. The color will be what it will be in its own time. So the skein waits, steeping in its warm, earthy bath. Our fiber is now fully saturated with the pale brown pigment. It is no longer white. It has undergone a quiet and permanent change. After another long while, the dyer decides the color is right. It is not a dramatic or a vibrant color. It is simply beige. A calm, neutral, unassuming color. The skein is lifted from the dye bath for the final time and allowed to drip for a few moments. Then it is transferred to a bath of cool, clean water to rinse away any excess dye. The skein is gently squeezed and moved in the clear water. A faint cloud of brown leaves the thread and colors the rinse water. This is repeated with fresh water, again and again, until the water remains perfectly clear. This ensures that the color is set, that it will not fade or run. The thread is now clean, dyed, and very wet. It is heavy in the hands. It is gently squeezed one last time to remove as much water as possible without wringing it too hard, which could stretch or damage the fibers. To dry, it is not placed in a machine or hurried with heat. The twisted skein is opened back into its large loop and hung over a wooden rod in a place where the air can circulate freely. It hangs there, dripping slowly at first, creating a small, pale brown puddle on the floor below. Then the dripping slows and then it stops. The thread just hangs, releasing its moisture into the air. This, too, is a slow process. Depending on the air, it could take a whole day or even two. Our fiber, locked in its twist, slowly dries. As the water molecules evaporate from its surface, the color seems to lighten slightly, becoming the soft, dusty beige that was intended from the start. It hangs there in the quiet room, a large, still loop of color. It is a picture of patience. It doesn't fidget or complain. It simply hangs and it dries. Once it is completely dry, a process that can only be confirmed by touch, feeling for any last trace of coolness or dampness, the skein is taken down. It is much lighter now and it feels soft and full. The journey from field to fiber to thread is almost complete. The final step is to prepare it for use. A large, twisted skein is beautiful, but it is not practical. To be used, it must be wound into a ball. This is another gentle, rhythmic task. The large loop of the skein is placed over a special holder called a swift, which looks like a large wooden umbrella frame without the fabric. It spins freely, allowing the thread to be unwound without tangling. The dyer finds the end of the thread and begins to wind it, perhaps around their own fingers at first, to create a small, firm core. Then they begin to build upon that core, winding the thread into a neat, round ball. The swift turns with a soft, whispering sound as the thread is pulled from it. The ball of thread in the dower's hands grows larger and larger. Their hands move in a practiced, intricate pattern, turning the ball this way and that to ensure it is wound evenly, creating a satisfyingly round and stable shape. The thread lies down upon its neighbors, layer upon layer of beige. Our fiber makes this journey from the spinning swift through the air and onto the growing sphere. It finds its new place, buried deep within the ball, waiting for a final purpose. The ball grows to the size of a fist. It is firm but has a gentle give to it. It is a satisfying object to hold. The last length of thread is unwound from the swift, and the end is tucked securely into the windings of the ball so it will not unravel. And there it is, the finished product, a simple, unassuming ball of beige thread. Let's pause and consider its journey. From a tiny white fiber in a sun-drenched field, part of a chaotic puff, it was picked, cleaned, carded, ordered. It was spun, twisted, strengthened, unified. It was washed, dyed, rinsed, and dried, changing its very color. And finally, it was wound into this neat, tidy ball. It has undergone a profound transformation, yet it has done so in the quietest, most understated way imaginable. There was no noise, no drama, no rush. Just a series of slow, patient, deliberate steps. The ball of thread now sits in a basket with other balls of thread, all in similarly muted, earthy colors. Grays, creams, browns, and our soft, gentle beige. They sit together in the quiet room, a collection of patient potential. What will they become? Perhaps a simple, warm blanket. Perhaps a comfortable pair of socks. Perhaps just a patch to mend a well-loved piece of clothing. Its future purpose is not grand, but it is a purpose of comfort, of utility, of quiet service. But for now, it simply rests. Let your mind rest with it. Allow your awareness to settle on this simple ball of thread. You can feel its weight in your hand, the soft texture of the wound fibers. You can see its calm, neutral color. It asks nothing of you. It makes no demands. It is simply there, a symbol of quiet transformation and peaceful potential. Let the story of the thread be a lullaby for your mind. A story with no sharp edges, no jarring events. Just a slow, meandering river of process. The feeling of the soft cotton, the whir of the spinning wheel, the warmth of the dye bath, the circular motion of winding the skein, the final, satisfying roundness of the ball. Each step is gentle, each step is calm. And as you focus on this simple story, you might notice that the chatter in your own mind begins to quiet down. The worries and lists of the day seem less important, farther away. They are like the tiny bits of leaf and twig that were picked from the cotton, things to be acknowledged and then gently set aside. What remains is a cleaner, more ordered state, a state of quiet readiness for rest. Let's imagine we have another fiber right next to the first one in that very same cotton bowl. Its journey would be almost identical and yet subtly different. It might have been closer to the outside of the bowl, feeling the air a little more. It might have had a slightly different length, a slightly different natural kink in its form. As it was picked and cleaned, perhaps it was in a different handful, cleaned by a different set of fingers. During the carding process, it might have ended up on the edge of the lap instead of the middle. When it was spun, it would be twisted together with a completely different set of neighboring fibers. Though they all came from the same plant in the same field, each fiber has its own microscopic individual story. And yet, they all end up together, unified in the same beige thread. They become indistinguishable from one another, their individual stories merged into a single, collective narrative. This is the nature of the thread. It is a community of fibers working together, holding each other, creating something stronger and more useful than any single one of them could be alone. Let's think about the color beige for a moment longer. It is a color that doesn't try to be anything else. It is not trying to be the bright yellow of the sun or the deep blue of the ocean. It is content in its own quiet nature. It is a background color, a color that allows other things to stand out. It is the color of stillness. When you look at it, your eyes don't get excited. They relax. Your mind doesn't race with associations. It calms down. It is the perfect color for a story meant for sleep. A color that soothes rather than stimulates. The thread is beige, the story is beige. And as you sink deeper into relaxation, perhaps your own thoughts can become a little more beige. Less vibrant, less demanding, more muted and soft. Drifting like the motes of dust in the soft light of the spinning room. They are there, but they don't need your attention. You can just watch them float by without grabbing onto any single one of them. Let's follow the thread a little further. Imagine someone takes that ball of beige thread. Their hands are old and practiced. They are going to knit. They take two long, smooth wooden needles. They make a simple slip knot and place it on one needle. Then, with a series of deft, practiced movements, they cast on stitches. The thread wraps around the needle, looping and pulling through, creating a foundation row. The movements are fluid and repetitive, a kind of dance between the fingers, the thread, and the needles. Click, clack, click, clack. The sound of the wooden needles touching is soft and rhythmic. It is another mechanical lullaby like the whirring of the spinning wheel. A row of stitches is created. Then the work is turned and another row is knitted back. Knit, purl, knit, purl. The fabric begins to grow. A simple, flat piece of knitted material. The beige thread creates a pattern of tiny, interlocking V-shapes. The fabric is soft and has a gentle stretch to it. It is unassuming, but it is warm and comforting. Our single fiber, which we followed from the field, is now locked into one of these stitches. It is part of a loop, held in place by the loops above, below, and on either side of it. It has found its final place. It is part of a whole, contributing its small, quiet strength to a piece of fabric that will bring someone comfort. As the knitting continues, the ball of thread slowly gets smaller. It unwinds, giving itself up to the creation of the fabric. The process is slow. Knitting is not a fast craft. It is a process of one stitch at a time. You cannot rush it. You must make each stitch correctly for the fabric to have integrity. And so the knitter sits, perhaps in a comfortable chair by a window. The light is soft. Their hands move with an easy, unhurried rhythm. Click, clack, whisper. The fabric grows longer and longer. A simple beige rectangle. It is not fancy. There are no complicated cables or lace patterns. It is just simple, honest knitting. The texture is pleasing to the touch. It is a fabric that feels like a quiet hug. And as you imagine this slow, steady process, you can let your own body relax into a state of quiet comfort. Let the rhythmic clicking of the needles be a mantra that guides you towards sleep. Each click is a moment letting go. Each new stitch is a step closer to deep, restful slumber. There is nothing to figure out, nothing to solve. There is only the simple, repetitive creation of a plain, beige fabric. One stitch, then another, then another. One breath, then another, then another. Sinking deeper, feeling heavier, letting go. Let's go back to the field for a moment. The sun has set now. The hazy sky has turned a soft, dusky violet. The air is cooler. The cotton plants are still, their leaves drooping slightly in the evening air. The bowls that were not picked today are closed up tight, protecting the fibers within. The field is silent. There is a deep peace here at night. The world is at rest, and the plants are resting too, gathering their strength for another day of quiet growth. This cycle has been happening for a very long time. The growing, the blooming, the waiting, the picking. It is a slow, natural rhythm like the seasons themselves. Our story is just one tiny loop in this immense, ancient cycle. One fiber, one thread, one piece of fabric. And tomorrow the sun will rise again, the light will be soft and diffused, and the process will continue. There is a deep comfort in this continuity, a sense that things are as they should be, moving at their own natural, unhurried pace. And so, as you lie here ready for sleep, you can connect with that slow, natural pace. There is no need to rush into sleep. There is no need to force it. Like the dyeing of the thread, it will happen in its own time. All you need to do is create the right conditions. A warm, comfortable place, a quiet mind, and a gentle focus. Our boring story is just that, a gentle focus. A place for your mind to rest, a path with no twists or turns. A long, straight, beige road that leads gently downhill into the soft landscape of dreams. You can let the details of the story wash over you now. The white of the cotton, the whir of the wheel, the warmth of the dye, the click of the needles. They can all blend together into a single, soothing hum, a background noise for your journey into sleep. The story has done its work. It has given your mind something quiet to hold onto, allowing your body the space it needs to relax and let go. The beige thread is now a part of a warm blanket. You can imagine it being wrapped around you. It is not heavy, but it has a comforting weight. It is soft against your skin. It holds your own body heat, creating a cocoon of gentle warmth. It is a blanket made of patience, of quiet work, of simple, natural things. And under the comfort of this imaginary blanket, you can feel safe, secure, and ready for a deep and peaceful rest. The story is over, but the feeling of calm remains. Let that feeling be your companion as you drift off to sleep. Good night. But perhaps the story isn't quite over. Perhaps there is more to see, more to observe in this quiet, unhurried world. Let's stay with the knitter for a while longer. The first ball of beige thread is now gone, transformed entirely into a rectangle of soft fabric. The knitter sets it aside and picks up a new ball of thread from the basket. This one is a slightly different color, a soft, gentle gray, the color of a dove's wing or a smooth river stone. The knitter finds the end of the gray thread and with a simple, secure knot joins it to the end of the beige fabric. And then the knitting continues. Click, clack, click, clack. A stripe of gray begins to form next to the beige. The two colors are harmonious together. Both are quiet, both are calm. They don't compete for attention. They complement each other like two quiet friends sitting side by side. The transition from beige to gray is the most exciting thing that has happened in this story so far. And yet, it is still so wonderfully, profoundly dull. It is just a change from one quiet color to another. Let's watch the gray fabric grow stitch by stitch. The process is identical. The movements are the same. Only the color of the thread is different. It makes you think about the journey of this gray thread. Did it come from a different field? Perhaps it came from the wool of a sheep with a soft gray fleece. Imagine a sheep grazing quietly on a green, rolling hill under that same hazy, overcast sky. The process would be similar. The shearing of the wool, the washing to remove the natural lanolin, the carding to align the fibers, the spinning to create the thread. But the raw material is different. Wool has a different texture from cotton. It is more springy, more elastic. It has a different faint scent, a clean animal scent. And this particular sheep's wool was already gray, so perhaps it didn't even need to be dyed. It was spun in its natural, beautiful, understated color. So this gray stripe in the blanket tells a slightly different, but equally quiet story. A story of a sheep on a hill, of shears and washing tubs, of a spinning wheel humming a slightly different tune. The knitter works on, the gray stripe growing wider. It will be the same width as the beige stripe, creating a pleasing, simple pattern. A block of beige, a block of gray. After the gray, perhaps there will be a creamy white, the natural, undyed color of the cotton we first imagined. A blanket of stripes, simple, honest, and warm. And as the knitter works, their mind is likely as quiet as the task itself. The repetitive motion of the needles can be a form of meditation. The mind doesn't need to be actively engaged in planning or problem solving. The hands know what to do. They have performed these movements thousands, millions of times. so the mind is free to be still or to wander gently. Perhaps the knitter is thinking about the person who will receive this blanket. Perhaps they are simply focused on the feel of the yarn sliding through their fingers, the smooth texture of the wooden needles. Or perhaps they are thinking of nothing at all, simply existing in the present moment, in the rhythm of their craft. Let's turn our attention away from the thread for a moment and focus on the room where this is all happening. It is a simple room. The walls are painted a soft off-white. The floor is made of wide wooden planks worn smooth by time. There is a single window looking out not on a busy street but on a quiet garden. Through the window you can see a few trees with muted green leaves and perhaps a single weathered stone bench. The light coming through the window is, as always, soft and indirect. There is a comfortable-looking armchair, the one the knitter is sitting in. Beside it is a small wooden table. On the table is a simple ceramic mug, holding what might be a cooled cup of herbal tea. There is also the basket of yarn, holding those spheres of beige, gray, and cream. There is nothing else in the room that calls for attention. No television, no bright posters, no clutter. It is a space designed for peace and quiet contemplation. A space where the creation of a simple, striped blanket feels like the most important and appropriate activity in the world. The air in the room is still and has a faint, pleasant smell of wood, wool, and brewing tea. It is a safe, calm, and predictable environment. There will be no sudden noises, no interruptions. It is a haven of tranquility. And in this haven, the knitter finishes the gray stripe. They snip the gray thread, leaving a long tail, and they pick up the ball of creamy white yarn. Another simple knot, and the work continues. A new stripe begins to form. This cream color is lovely. It is the color of the raw, clean cotton, the color of potential. It speaks of the beginning of the journey. So the blanket becomes a kind of physical timeline of our story. The cream of the undyed fiber, the beige of the nut husk dye, the gray of the natural wool, all coming together to create a single, unified object of comfort. And as you lie here, you are creating your own object of comfort, a period of deep, restorative rest. Each quiet moment, each gentle breath is like a stitch in the fabric of your sleep. You are knitting your own rest slowly, patiently, without force. You don't need to worry about the pattern. The pattern is simple. Just breathe in and breathe out. Just relax and let go. The process will take care of itself. Let's think about the wooden needles for a moment. Where did they come from? Perhaps they were carved from the branch of a birch tree. Imagine someone walking in a quiet wood, finding a fallen branch. They would take it home and with a small, sharp knife, slowly begin to whittle the wood, shaving off thin curls of bark and then the pale wood beneath. Slowly, the rough branch would be shaped into a long, smooth cylinder. The process would be slow and careful, ensuring the needle was perfectly straight and of an even thickness. Then, one end would be carefully tapered to a gentle point, not sharp enough to prick, but just pointed enough to slip easily into a stitch. The other end might have a small, carved knob to prevent the stitches from sliding off. Finally, the entire needle would be sanded with finer and finer grades of sand, and then polished with beeswax until it was as smooth as silk. The thread would glide over its surface with no friction, no snagging. The two needles in the knitter's hands are the result of this kind of patient, loving craftsmanship. They are not plastic, mass-produced objects. They have a history, they have a soul, and they have been warmed by the knitter's hands for countless hours. They are partners in the act of creation. The sounds of the room are all soft. The gentle click of the needles, the soft whisper of the yarn being pulled from the ball, the quiet, even breathing of the knitter. Perhaps if you listen very, very closely, you can hear the faint ticking of a grandfather clock in a distant hallway. Tick, tock, tick, tock, a slow, steady, predictable rhythm. It is a sound that measures time, but in a way that is comforting rather than stressful. It is the sound of moments passing gently, without urgency. It is the heartbeat of the quiet house. Let that slow, steady rhythm merge with the rhythm of your own heart, your own breath. Tick, tock, inhale, exhale, everything is slowing down. The world is becoming quieter, softer, simpler. All the complexity of the day is fading away, being replaced by the simple, profound peace of this moment. You are safe. You are comfortable. All you need to do is rest. The cream-colored stripe is now complete. The blanket is growing. It is now a respectable size, big enough to be a lap blanket. The knitter lays it over their knees, and the warmth is immediate and comforting. They admire their work for a moment. The simple, clean lines of the stripes, the evenness of the stitches. It is a humble object, but it is made with care and intention. And that is what makes it beautiful. The knitter decides on the next color, back to beige. The pattern will be a simple repetition, cream, beige, gray, cream, beige, gray, on and on until the blanket is long enough. The repetition is key. It is predictable. We know what is coming next, and that lack of surprise is deeply reassuring. Our minds don't have to work to anticipate the future. We can simply relax into the known pattern. Cream, then beige, then gray. It is a mantra of colors. And so another beige stripe begins. We have come full circle back to our original thread. The thread that we followed from the field through the spinning and dyeing process. Perhaps this new stripe is being knitted from the very ball of thread we imagined being wound. Its moment has come. It is no longer just potential in a basket. It is being actively transformed into its final purpose. Our fiber, which we followed so closely, is now being worked into a stitch, loop by loop, row by row. It is finding its permanent place in the world as part of this comforting, striped blanket. There is a quiet satisfaction in this, a sense of a journey completed, a purpose fulfilled. And as the story of this thread finds its gentle conclusion, so too can your conscious mind find its own gentle conclusion to the day. It can release its grip on thoughts and plans and allow itself to dissolve into the quiet, restorative darkness of sleep. The blanket is still growing, the knitting continues, but our story can pause here. The rhythm is established. The pattern is set. It will continue on just as the sun will rise and set, just as the seasons will turn. And you can leave the knitter to their quiet work and allow yourself to drift away on the gentle tide of sleep, wrapped in the imaginary warmth of a simple, striped, beige and gray and cream-colored blanket. Sleep now. Just sleep. The needles continue their soft, rhythmic dance. Click, clack, click, clack. The beige stripe grows one row at a time. The fabric slides over the knitter's lap, a growing pool of warmth and comfort. Let's watch the light in the room. As the afternoon deepens, the soft, hazy light from the window begins to change. It takes on a warmer, more golden hue. The shadows in the room, which were barely there before, begin to lengthen ever so slightly. A long, soft-edged shadow from the armchair stretches slowly across the wooden floorboards. It is a slow, silent movement, the imperceptible turning of the earth made visible. The dust motes, still dancing in the shaft of light, now glow like tiny golden embers. They rise and fall on currents of air too gentle to feel. They are on their own unhurried journey with no beginning and no end. Watching them is like watching the stars in a very slow, very quiet galaxy. There is no need to track any single one. You can just observe the gentle, collective drift. The knitter seems not to notice this slow change in the light. Their focus remains on the work in their hands. The pattern is so ingrained in their muscle memory that they could likely do it with their eyes closed. Perhaps, for a moment, they do close their eyes, relying solely on the sense of touch. They can feel the stitches on the left needle, counting them with the tip of the right. They can feel the slight tension in the yarn as it flows over their index finger. They can feel the precise moment a new loop is pulled through, the soft release as it slides onto the new needle. It is a world of subtle, tactile information. The texture of the beige cotton thread is smooth and dry. When they were knitting with the gray wool, there was a different feeling, a slight springiness, a fuzzier texture. Now the cotton feels solid, dependable, and cool to the touch, though the fabric it creates is wonderfully warm. Let's think about that warmth. How does this simple fabric made of tiny twisted fibers create such comfort? If we could look at the knitted fabric under a powerful microscope, we would see a beautiful, complex landscape. We would see the main yarns, the beige thread we know so well, looping and twisting around each other. But between these main yarns, we would see a fuzzy halo of countless smaller fibers that have escaped the main twist. And between all of these fibers in the gaps and loops of the stitches are millions of tiny pockets of air. When the blanket is laid over you, it traps the air. Your own body warms this trapped air, and the dense network of fibers prevents that warm air from escaping. It is not the blanket itself that is warm, but its ability to hold onto the warmth you yourself create. It is a quiet, efficient system, a gentle collaboration between your body and this simple object, a partnership in comfort. And as you lie here now, The blankets covering you are doing the very same thing, trapping a layer of warm, still air close to your body, creating a personal cocoon of perfect temperature. You don't have to do anything to make this happen. It is a passive, gentle process, just like falling asleep. There in the corner of the room on a small, round rug, something else is a master of passive, gentle processes. A cat is sleeping. It is a very plain, unremarkable cat. Its fur is a soft, tabby gray with muted stripes that blend into the shadows. It is curled into a perfect circle, its nose tucked under its tail. Its whole body is completely limp, completely relaxed. From time to time, one of its ears might twitch, responding to a sound too quiet for human hearing. Or its whiskers might tremble with a dream. But otherwise, it is a statue of slumber. Let's watch its breathing. Its furry side rises and falls with a slow, deep, and incredibly regular rhythm. Inhale and a long, soft exhale. The breath is so quiet it is completely silent. It is the picture of perfect, untroubled rest. The cat is not worried about tomorrow. It is not replaying the events of today. It is fully surrendered to the act of sleeping. It holds no tension in its body. Its paws are soft, its jaw is slack. It is a profound lesson in the art of letting go. You can let your own body take inspiration from this sleeping cat. You can let your own breathing become slow and deep and regular. You can let your own muscles become heavy and limp. You can surrender to rest, just as the cat has. The knitter glances over at the cat and a small, soft smile touches their lips. They are two quiet beings sharing a peaceful space, each engrossed in their own tranquil activity. The knitting continues. Click, clack. Another row of beige is completed. The ball of yarn tumbles gently in the basket as the thread is pulled, causing the other balls to shift with a soft, muffled rustle. The light from the window has faded further now. The golden color has deepened to a soft orange, the color of apricot jam. The room is sinking into a gentle twilight. Soon it will be too dark to see the stitches clearly. The knitter works on, completing one final row of beige. The stripe is now finished, a perfect block of calm, sandy color. They let their hands rest in their lap for a moment, the needles and the blanket lying still on top. They look out the window. The sky is now awash of pale lavender and dusty rose. The outlines of the trees in the garden are becoming soft silhouettes. The day is drawing to a gentle, unhurried close. There is no rush to turn on a light. The knitter seems to enjoy this in-between time, this gloaming. The world becomes simpler in the fading light. Details recede and only shapes and forms remain. The room is full of soft, deep shadows. It is a time for quiet reflection, or for no reflection at all. It is a time simply to be. After several long, quiet moments, the knitter reaches over to the small table and picks up a matchbox. The sound of the box being opened is small and distinct in the quiet room. The rattle of the matches inside. Then the scrape of one match against the side of the box. A brief, sharp, yet somehow gentle sound. A tiny flame blossoms into existence, bright for a moment in the dimness. The knitter uses it to light a single, thick, cream-colored candle that sits in a simple ceramic holder. The match is blown out. A final wisp of gray smoke curls into the air, and a new kind of light fills the room. The candlelight is very different from the daylight. It is a small, living, flickering light. It is warm and golden, and it does not fill the whole room. It creates a small pool of gentle light around the armchair and the basket of yarn, and lets the corners of the room fall away into soft, deep darkness. The shadows it casts are long, and they dance and tremble softly, moving with the flicker of the flame. The world of the room has shrunk, becoming more intimate, more enclosed, more cozy. The knitter's face is illuminated from below, the light highlighting the peaceful concentration in their expression. The candle has a very faint, clean scent, perhaps of beeswax. It adds another subtle layer to the peaceful atmosphere of the room. The knitter waits for their eyes to adjust to the new light. Then they pick up their work once more. They snip the beige yarn, leaving a tail, and they pick up the ball of gray yarn. The pattern will continue, predictable, reassuring. Gray, then cream, then beige. Under the flickering candlelight, the knitting resumes. The click of the needles is perhaps a little more pronounced now, in the deeper quiet of the evening. Click, clack. The sound is a small, domestic anchor in the vast silence of the coming night. Outside, the last colors have faded from the sky, leaving a deep, velvety indigo. A few early stars might be starting to appear, but from inside this warm, candle-lit room, the outside world feels very far away. This room is a sanctuary, a bubble of peace. And you are here in your own sanctuary, your own bubble of peace. The world outside your room, with all its demands and noises, can fade away. It can become as distant as the stars. Your only task now is to inhabit this quiet space you have created for yourself. To feel the comfort of your bed, the weight of your blankets, the softness of your pillow. Let's imagine the blanket is finished. It has been knitted, the ends have been woven in, and it has been washed and blocked, making the stitches even and the fabric soft and drapey. It lies folded on a simple wooden chest at the end of a bed. It is a beautiful object in its own humble way. Its stripes of cream, beige, and gray are perfectly even. It is a testament to many hours of patient, quiet work. Someone is preparing for sleep. They pull back the covers of the bed, and then they pick up the striped blanket and lay it on top, an extra layer of warmth and comfort for the cool night. They slide into the bed and pull the covers up. The striped blanket is the topmost layer. Their hand rests upon it, feeling the texture. They can feel the slight difference between the smooth cotton stitches and the fuzzier wool stitches. It is a pleasing, tactile experience. The blanket has a comforting weight to it. Not too heavy, just enough to make you feel secure, grounded. It is like a gentle, reassuring hand resting on you. As this person lies in the dark under the weight of this special blanket, they feel a sense of peace. They might not know the full story of the thread, of the field and the spinning wheel and the dye pot, but they can feel the care that went into its creation. It is a blanket that is imbued with quietness, with patience, with intention. And as they lie there, they begin to drift off to sleep. Their breathing deepens, their body relaxes. The blanket is doing its quiet work, holding in their warmth, protecting them from the coolness of the night. It is fulfilling its purpose, the purpose that began with a single tiny fiber in a sun-drenched field. And our single fiber is there in the middle of a beige stripe, in the middle of the blanket, a silent participant in this moment of profound peace. Its long, slow, boring journey has led it here, to this moment of rest, to this act of providing comfort. There could be no better, no quieter, no more satisfying end to its story. And now your own story for today can find its quiet and satisfying end. You have done enough. You have thought enough. The time for activity is over. The time for rest has come. You can let go of the thread of the story now and just float in the feeling it has created. A feeling of calm, a feeling of peace, a feeling of slowness. Imagine the colors of the blanket, the soft cream, the gentle beige, the peaceful gray. Let these colors wash through your mind, clearing away any brighter, more jarring thoughts. Let the repetitive rhythm of the knitting needles be the last sound you are aware of, a gentle click, clack that fades into the deeper rhythm of your own slow heartbeat. Let the warmth of the blanket be the warmth of your own body, sinking down, down, down into your mattress. There is nothing more to do. There is nothing more to see. The story has dissolved into the feeling of rest itself. And now there is only sleep, deep, peaceful, restorative sleep. Allow it to come. Welcome it. Sink into it now. Let's linger for a moment more in the quiet of the knitter's room. The candle flame burns steadily. It has melted a small pool of liquid wax around the wick. The flame itself is a thing of simple beauty. It is shaped like a teardrop. It is bluer at the base and a bright, soft yellow at the top. It sways gently with the imperceptible movements of the air. It is constant, yet always changing. A tiny, contained star in the darkness of the room. The gray stripe on the blanket is growing under this soft light. The color is harder to distinguish from the beige in the candlelight. They have both become shades of a warm, shadowy brown. But the knitter's fingers know the difference in the texture. They know they are working with the springy wool. The work continues, a constant, steady production of warmth and comfort, one stitch at a time. The cat on the rug has not moved. It has sunk even deeper into its slumber. Perhaps its paws are twitching as it dreams of chasing a mouse made of yarn, but it is a silent, peaceful dream. The grandfather clock in the hall chimes softly, its tone muted and gentle. It marks the passing of another hour of peace, another hour of quiet creation. The world inside this room is a microcosm of tranquility. Every element is simple, natural, and unassuming. The wood of the floor, the needles, the chair, the natural fibers of the cotton and wool, the beeswax of the candle, the ceramic of the mug and the candle holder. It is a world without plastic, without harsh noises, without bright, artificial lights. It is a world that moves at a human pace, at a natural pace. And by spending this time here in our imagination, we can absorb some of its peace. We can let its slowness seep into our bones. We can remember that it is possible to move through the world in a quieter, more gentle way. We don't have to rush. We don't have to be constantly stimulated. We can find a deep and profound satisfaction in simple, repetitive, quiet tasks. We can find beauty in the plain and the unremarkable, in the color beige, in a simple stripe, in a single, humble thread. And as the knitter continues their work, and the candle continues to burn, and the cat continues to sleep, we can gently withdraw our attention. We can leave them there in their perfect bubble of peace and turn our focus fully inward, to the darkness behind our own closed eyes, to the gentle rise and fall of our own chest, to the feeling of weight and heaviness in our limbs. The story has built a foundation of calm, and now you can simply rest upon that foundation. You can let your mind be as clear and as empty as the quiet room. You can let your body be as relaxed and as still as the sleeping cat. There are no more words needed. The journey is complete. The work is done. All that is left is to surrender to the sweet, soft, silent embrace of sleep. Let it take you now. Let it carry you through the night to a morning that will be refreshed and renewed. Sleep well, sleep deeply. But let's not leave them just yet. Let's stay in the quiet, candle-lit room a little longer, watching the slow, steady progress of the gray stripe. The knitter's hands have found their rhythm again, a rhythm so deep and practiced it seems to be a part of their own breathing. Click, clack, a stitch is made, a breath is taken. Click, clack, a breath is released. There is a perfect economy of motion, no wasted energy, no hurried gestures. It is a portrait of focused calm. The ball of gray wool in the basket gently unravels, offering itself up to the needles, to the growing fabric. It turns slowly, a fuzzy gray planet in a small, woven universe. The light of the single candle catches the soft halo of the woolly fibers, making the thread seem to glow with a faint, silvery light as it travels from the basket to the knitter's hands. It is a bridge of light in the warm darkness. After a time, the hands pause their work. The knitter carefully rests the needles on the fabric in their lap, ensuring no stitches can slip away. They reach for the ceramic mug on the small table. Their fingers wrap around it. It is cool to the touch now. The gentle warmth it once held has long since dissipated into the quiet air of the room. They lift the mug to their lips and take a small sip of the now-cold tea. The flavor is faint, a ghost of what it was when it was warm. A hint of something floral and honey-like, but muted, subdued. It is not unpleasant, it is just quiet. The knitter swallows and places the mug back on the table with a soft, solid sound. They look at it for a moment, this simple cup of cold tea. And this tea, like the thread, has its own slow, boring story. Let's imagine where it came from. Not from a vast field like the cotton, but from a smaller, more intimate patch of earth. A herb garden, perhaps, tucked behind a stone wall. And in this garden, under the same soft, hazy sun, grows the chamomile. The plants are low and bushy, with delicate, feathery leaves that look like green lace. And scattered all over them like a dusting of stars are the flowers. They are tiny, looking like miniature daisies. A ring of delicate, pure white petals surrounds a cheerful, button-like center of bright, sunny yellow. When the gentle breeze stirs, the whole patch seems to shimmer, and if you were to walk near it, you would catch their scent. A clean, sweet, apple-like fragrance that is instantly calming. It is the scent of a peaceful afternoon. Our story begins with one of these tiny flower heads. It sits atop its slender stem, its white petals like delicate rays, its yellow center covered in a fine, golden dust of pollen. It has spent its days turning its face to the soft sun, being visited by the occasional drowsy bee, and bobbing in the gentle wind. Then one day the hands come, the same slow, careful hands of the knitter, perhaps. The hands move among the chamomile plants with reverence. The fingers gently close around a single flower head. There is no pulling or tearing. With a gentle pinch, the flower head is plucked from its stem. The sound is almost nothing, a tiny, soft snap. The flower is dropped into a wide, shallow basket. Its journey has begun. The hands continue their work, picking one flower head, then another, then another. It is a slow, meditative task. The sun warms the picker's back. The scent of chamomile rises from the basket, a fragrant cloud. Our single flower head is soon buried among thousands of its fellows, a pile of white and gold, exuding a perfume of pure tranquility. The work continues until the basket is full, a treasure of tiny, fragrant suns. The basket is carried inside into a warm, dry, airy room. The flowers are not washed, they are perfect as they are. They are gently spread out in a single layer on large, flat screens made of fine mesh, which are set on wooden racks. Here in the dim, quiet room they will dry. This is another process that cannot be rushed. It is a slow surrender of moisture. Day by day, the flowers change. The plump, yellow centers shrink and harden. The delicate white petals become papery and translucent, curling in slightly toward the center. The fresh, apple-like scent deepens, becoming more herbal, more earthy, more concentrated. The flowers become light, so light that a breath could scatter them. They rustle when the screen is gently shaken, a sound like the whisper of dry leaves. Our single flower, now dry and preserved, waits patiently. Its essence, its gift of calm, is now locked within its fragile, papery form. When the flowers are perfectly dry, they are carefully gathered from the screens and stored in a large glass jar with a tight-fitting lid. Inside the jar, it is dark and quiet. Our flower is pressed among its companions, a fragrant jumble of dried blossoms waiting. They will wait through the seasons, a small, captured piece of summer, a promise of future peace. And then one evening the jar is opened. The knitter takes a small spoon and scoops out a measure of the dried flowers. Our flower is among them. The sound they make as they are spooned out is a soft, satisfying rustle. They are placed into a small, metal, ball-shaped infuser. The infuser is closed with a click and lowered into the empty ceramic mug. Then comes the water. It has been heated in a kettle, and as it is poured into the mug, it makes a gentle, rushing sound. The hot water surrounds the dried flowers inside their metal cage. And now, the final magic happens. Almost immediately, the water begins to change color. The essence of the chamomile, locked away for so long, is released into the warmth. A pale, golden yellow begins to bleed from the flowers, swirling into the clear water like a captured sunbeam being set free. The water transforms into a beautiful, translucent gold, and with the color comes the scent. The fragrance of that summer garden fills the air, but it is warmer now, softer, carried on the delicate wisps of steam that rise from the mug. It is a scent that tells your body to relax, that tells your mind to be still. The knitter let the tea steep for a few minutes, watching the color deepen, watching the steam rise. Then they lifted the infuser out, the spent flowers now plumped with water, and set it aside on a small dish. They sat down in their armchair with the warm mug in their hands. They inhaled the fragrant steam. That was the tea in its prime, a simple, beautiful, calming creation. It sat on the table beside them as they began to knit the beige stripe. Its warmth faded, its scent dissipated, its color remained. And now it is just a cup of cold tea. Its moment of offering has passed. It has done its quiet work. And so it sits in the candlelight, a small, still, golden pool, an object at rest. Its journey is complete, just like the thread that has been knitted into fabric, just like the blanket that will eventually be finished and folded. Everything in this room seems to follow this gentle arc, from a state of raw, natural potential through a slow and patient process of transformation to a final state of quiet, useful, peaceful rest. There is a deep, underlying order to this world, a rhythm of creation and completion. And by witnessing it, we can feel our own chaotic thoughts begin to settle. We can feel our own bodies following that same arc, moving from the activity of the day through the slow process of relaxation toward the final, peaceful state of sleep. Let your mind be like that cup of tea. Let the thoughts that were once hot and steaming be allowed to cool. Let them settle. Their energy can dissipate, leaving behind a quiet stillness. You don't need to do anything with them. Just let them be. Let them become cool and calm and quiet. Let's listen to the quiet again. The click of the needles has stopped. The knitter's hands are resting. The cat is breathing softly. The candle flame is flickering silently. Is there anything else? Perhaps if you listen very, very carefully, you can hear the sound of the house itself. The old wood of the floor and the walls and the furniture makes tiny, almost imperceptible creaks and groans as it cools in the evening air. These are not alarming sounds. They are the sounds of a house settling, a house that is old and has been standing here for a very long time. It is a comforting sound, the sound of a sturdy shelter, of a safe haven. The house is breathing in its own slow, wooden way around the quiet inhabitants within. It is another layer of the deep, profound peace of this place. And as you lie in your own bed, you can listen for the quiet sounds of your own home. The gentle hum of a refrigerator, the whisper of air through a vent, the distant rumble of a car passing far away. These sounds are the pulse of your own safe haven. You can let them be a part of your journey into sleep, a confirmation that you are secure, you are sheltered, and you can safely let your guard down and drift into rest.